What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys. Now, it is Oscar season, and a lot of studios are sending me screeners, and I'm watching all of them, especially ones I have not seen throughout the year, and ones that are just now coming out. So, I'm watching all these screeners, I'm catching up, and I'm going to go ahead and just throw all these reviews at you guys at once, because I think it's the courteous thing to do, even if I hate the movie, because the studio was kind enough to send me these screeners. I don't know why they do. I'm very inferior to all my other, critic friends and actual journalists. It's an incredible opportunity to do this, but I'm thankful for it. So the first one I was sent was from Focus Features, so thank you, Focus Features, for sending me Darkest Hour. No, not The Darkest Hour with Emil Hirsch about the alien invasion back in 2011. That's a real movie. No, this one's about Winston Churchill, as he is appointed prime minister in the early stages of World War II, and he's faced with his first big task as a leader, and that is to negotiate with Hitler or fight him and beat his ass. So that's what we got here. I didn't really know much about the movie going in, except for Gary Oldman was playing Winston Churchill. I've been hearing great things through the festival circuits. This is his Oscar moment. This is his career-defining performance. And I saw the trailer, and I like the trailer, and I like anything that has to do with historical, leaders and wars, especially World War II. I'm always fascinated with that stuff. Directed by Joe Wright, who, I've only seen Anna Karenina, but, he's done Atonement and Hannah, and people love those movies. So this is setting up for success, right? Kind of. The movie is just okay, in my opinion, with a great performance that drives right through it. So let's get real and break this down. Let's start with some of the positives. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way first. This is a very good, sometimes even great Gary Oldman performance. So on top of all the extraordinary makeup and hairstyling, which is uncanny and frightening at the same time because he looks like Winston Churchill, we also have a performance from Gary Oldman that is subtle in nature. It's emotional. There's a lot happening with this character, and there's a lot of layers presented between, Winston Churchill and everyone he interacts with in this movie. And I think Gary Oldman really kind of brings it into the forefront, and he is the driving force behind this movie. The weird thing is, this movie has like 95% of the scenes with Gary Oldman. It is nothing but glimpses of Winston Churchill, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with that, but if this movie didn't have near as much Winston Churchill, or even a less than capable actor taking on this role, this movie would have been boring. It would have not really, I would have really never felt anything. So I think Gary Oldman's performance really does carry the whole movie on his shoulders, and I'll get to that in just a second. But we're talking performance-wise, and I thought he brought a lot of humanity to Winston Churchill, because the one thing I've always found interesting about Churchill is that he seems like a normal dude. He doesn't seem like this powerful leader that's like power hungry and that's all we get from him. He's no Julius Caesar or whatever. This is a normal dude that was thrown into this situation. He has a lot of decisions to make, and a lot of people are looking up to him. I love the fact that he was fearful. He was emotional. He didn't know what to do. I love that. I love the fact that he was getting advice from civilians and his wife to kind of help him understand the ramifications of which choice he was going to go with. Like that stuff was incredible to me. And we'll get to the problems in just a second. So I thought he brought a lot of different layers to the character, and I really do appreciate that. All the other performances are good. Everyone, I think, is serviceable. Lily James plays his receptionist or typewriter person, keeping track of everything he says and speeches and all that stuff. I thought she did a really good job. She had a nice little arc in the middle of the movie. Kristen Scott Thomas plays his wife. She was good. Everyone else was good, but this is definitely a Gary Oldman movie in terms of performance. Another great thing I really liked was the direction in this film. The story might have been a little dull. However, the direction of this movie is visually striking. I love the production design, the art direction, costumes, everything. It was colorful. It was grim. It was vibrant at the same time. Like, I love that. I felt like I was there in the 40s. So the atmosphere of this movie is definitely a credit to Joe Wright's direction for sure. He did the same thing in Anna Karenina, where I didn't really care for that movie, but I really did like the atmosphere of that movie, so it just transfers over. Another thing I really enjoyed was the cinematography. A lot of great kind of boxed off shots and compositions. Like, I just absolutely love the visual look to this movie and the lighting. It just, all of it just looks so real, and it just, like, I was so drawn in just from the visual look of it that I think that's why I'm able to forgive the kind of dull story a little bit, because the visuals and the performance was so good. But for instance, in terms of box and cinematography, we had a couple shots of like Winston Churchill talking in a phone booth or talking in his office, to where we would have the shot kind of go off into a wide shot, and we have the composition either be squared off or rectangled off, or however you say that. And it was really cool to see the kind of darkness around this man really kind of closing in on him and making these claustrophobic shots really palpable with the situation that was going on. So I really enjoyed that. The music was really great. A nice little score to accompany said film. The biggest negative for sure is that this is just an okay movie at best. In terms of actual like war movies, or movies based on World War II or historical leaders, it just seemed like a very just one-note, dull, hollow story. Like, there was nothing to it. When you watch this movie, you understand what I'm talking about, but the movie jumps days very rapidly, where it was like 10 or 15 minutes on this one day, let's jump 3 more days. And Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill was in the forefront every single scene, and so we didn't really know anything else. Yes, we knew a lot about that person, but in terms of the war and the consequences, ramifications, family, wife, kids, it all seemed very flat to me. And so that really pains me to say this, because everything else is good. But the fact that some of the characters in the story is just so dull and just on this flat line, I don't know, there was really nothing to it. And it really didn't get me going, except for a couple of things. Like I said, there were nuggets of greatness in here, whether it be scenes or character moments or dialogue, stuff that was riveting. I wish the whole movie was like that. Case in point, there's something where a line of dialogue where his wife, played by Scott Thomas, she says this in front of Winston Churchill, where she says, "You are strong because you're imperfect, and you're wise because you have doubts." It's stuff like that where I go, yes, that completely encapsulates Winston Churchill and completely just encapsulates what this man's going through. I love that stuff. But then, like, everything else was just kind of like serviceable. It was like very, I hate using the word or this phrase, Oscar baity, but it definitely was. And it was trying to be something, but it ultimately wasn't. And this was just an okay movie at best that had a strong performance in the forefront. And I have no doubt that Gary Oldman will get nominated for this role. He'll probably win. If he does, that's fine. But as far as the overall movie, kind of lacks for me. I'm going to give Darkest Hour a C+. Sorry, definitely not my top 10, but I do appreciate a lot of aspects about it. So what did you guys think of what did you guys think of Darkest Hour? Please comment below my face and let me know. And as always, guys, I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.